It's not. It was factual.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Who does it? I just did it. I ain't like it. Yo, Acho, the new suit or just not wearing it as much as I wear this blue one? Which one? You ain't gonna tell people? Oh, it's an old suit. All right, let's get it started in San Francisco, where all eyes will be on the 49ers selection with the third pick in the NFL draft on Thursday. Reports say it's coming down to two prospects, and it's believed to be who? Mac Jones and Trey Lance. Kyle Shanahan's contract runs through the 2025 season, and Peter King says he does not care about public opinion on who they should draft. So, Acho with the old suit, how much pressure is on Kyle Shanahan?
Sal, it's a ton, but I think that's the easy answer. I think you got to get into the whys, man. I've been looking forward to this topic. This whole show jam-packed, so I've been looking forward to this whole show. But there's a ton of pressure because Kyle Shanahan has to do two things. He has to pick the right player, and he has to make sure that that player exceeds all the other players. Typically, in an NFL draft, you just have to pick the right player. I remember talking to a high-level scout and a general manager one time, and I asked him, how much pressure is there to make sure you get the best player in the first round of a draft? They said, we don't need to get the best player. We just need to make sure that the player we get balls. So if we draft a player and he balls, we don't care if Marcellus drafts a player and Marcellus's player balls. As long as the player we get balls. I'm reminded 1984 NBA draft. The Houston Rockets, they don't draft Michael Jordan. But in their minds, it's probably to a degree okay because they draft Hakeem Olajuwon, still ends up being a top 25 player of all time, goes on to lead the Rockets to 2 NBA championships. So, no, you didn't get the greatest player of all time, but you did all right, right? You can hold your head high. I don't even think Kyle Shanahan has that luxury. In this draft, I think Kyle Shanahan has to draft the Michael Jordan, if you will. Not only do you have to draft a good player, you got to make sure you draft the best player. And the reason I say so, Sal, is because comparison, it is the thief of joy.
Steal it, brother.
Comparison is a thief of joy. I'm going to come out on my first lap like this.
What's up?
Mitch Trubisky's draft. Mitch Trubisky was, by statistical metrics, really good player the last 3 seasons. By statistical metrics, Mitch Trubisky went to the playoffs twice. By statistical metrics, Mitch Trubisky was all right, but there's a problem, Sal. Mitch Trubisky was in the same draft as Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. Comparison is the thief of joy. So although the Bears did okay in drafting Mitch Trubisky, not in comparison to, man, Patrick Mahomes and what Deshaun Watson doing. I'll put it in context, then I'm going to pass the baton to my dog, Marcellus Wiley.
Stick!
Since 2018, look at where Mitch Trubisky ranks to other quarterbacks in the NFL draft. Winning percentage higher than Josh Allen, Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, Derek Carr, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, and obviously Sam Darnold. So Mitch Trubisky ranks ahead of 10 other NFL starters and high-paid quarterbacks. Mitch Trubisky about to be a backup, making, I think, like $4 million this year. Not because he was bad, but because other quarterbacks in the same draft made him look bad. So bringing it all full circle to Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, you can't afford to draft the Mitch Trubisky. You can't afford to draft the dude who goes to the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. You can't afford to draft the dude who's 25-13 in his last 38 starts. You got to draft the Patrick Mahomes. You have to draft the greatest of even the greats, thinking Patrick Mahomes came in the same draft as Deshaun Watson. You honestly can't even draft Deshaun. You got to draft the Mahomes.
Wow. You said a lot there because a lot of pressure is on Kyle Shanahan in this situation. More than a lot, a whole lot of Tyrese. I used to love that song. Anyway, pressure only exists outside of your comfort zone. When you try to stretch yourself, get in front of your skis, ahead of your skis, all of a sudden you start to feel the pressure because you're not comfortable. Pressure doesn't exist in your comfort zone. If I told you, Acho, get up right now and walk over there to the board, you don't feel pressure. When I say, Acho, go climb up there to the top and change some lights, you're like, what'd you say? Because it's out your comfort zone. Kyle Shanahan's not a winning head coach. So whoever he drafts is going to take him out of his comfort zone because he's going to bet on this new quarterback to help him win despite having a winning quarterback on his roster. Give up assets for a prospect. Pressure's on you. Give up assets for a prospect that plays a position that the only one you can point at on your team that is giving you an opportunity in his fully healthy season to make it to a Super Bowl is that same quarterback in that same position. This is senseless. It's a senseless move if Kyle Shanahan's going to draft a quarterback like all reports are indicating. But Kyle Shanahan knows this, and he's smart. He's a genius, not because he's an offensive coordinator, tremendous guru at the OC position, that is not a tremendous head coach. Like you said when I was off that one week, I'm going to hold that against you forever. He's not a genius in that respect. He's a genius because he's doing what Jeff Fisher did, and a lot of coaches do. How do I give me some more runway? This plane ain't took off like I think it should. Not just yet. Expectations are higher than my reality. Most important position on the field, quarterback. All I got to do is draft one and reset the franchises and fan base's mindset, and that will buy me time, because you know what? I'm here as a guru, as a genius, and I must develop him. Develop him when you have a quarterback on your roster that is fully developed. Only problem with him is the durability. So Kyle Shanahan's going to run a scam right now. He's going to actually say, I'm going to catch lightning in a bottle twice. This is what I'm going to do. I traded for Jimmy G, and he saved the day, because y'all remember, 1-10, me, sorry, head coach, losing winning percentage right now as a head coach, even with Jimmy G a part of his percentage. And they make it to the Super Bowl one year when Jimmy G's healthy. But here's the lightning in the bottle. I'm going to do that again, but this time I'm going to draft him. Now, one, he has to be better than Jimmy G. But what's better than Jimmy G? Patrick Mahomes. Because the only thing that beat Jimmy G when he's healthy was Patrick Mahomes.
Correct.
So what's the odds of you getting a quarterback that's going to be better than Jimmy G? Patrick Mahomes level. Good luck. And then two, you're betting on him being durable. I'm going to tell you from my perspective, being a former player, I don't give a damn if you play every game or not. How well do you play? I don't need a guy's like, man, I played all 16. How many tackles? 5. 5? The whole season? Yeah. Well, then, damn it. I'd rather somebody in spot duty if I'm going to take a gamble. To me, this is a senseless gamble, as you told me. This is splitting tens in blackjack. This is literally, what are you doing? You already got what you need. Double down and build resources around Jimmy G.
My dog says splitting tens and double down in a sentence. You sounding real casino like Marcellus
I'm about to go
Wiley.
hit it. Hey, it's opening up out here in these streets.
I'm gonna take your statement and I'm gonna add to that, because I like where you're at.
Okay.
I do think that pressure exists when you're outside your comfort zone.
Facts.
But I also think pressure exists when there are consequences. You said, hey, Acho, walk over to the board, no pressure. Hey, Acho, go change the light, pressure. I co-sign that sentiment. But if you also said, hey, Acho, walk over to the board. If you don't trip, I'll give you $1 million. If you trip on the way over to the board, you owe me $1 million.
That's pressure?
Well, I'm now walking flat-footed. I ain't walking in the Uggs. Because what if the Uggs get caught on something? See, there's pressure. I'm now calculating my decisions more because there's a consequence to my action.
Okay.
So I do think, what is the pressure for Kyle Shanahan? The pressure is, I think there will finally be consequences. Sale hit the nail on the head several times over the last course of the week in that, is Kyle Shanahan guru? Is he not? 2017, Kyle Shanahan passes on Patrick Mahomes or drafting Deshaun Watson.
Now we talking.
Top of his list was Myles Garrett, Solomon Thomas, linebacker Reuben Foster. Because Kyle Shanahan was like, you know what? I can go get me Kirk Cousins after his franchise tag expires. I'm going to get Kirk Cousins in 2018.
Now we cooking.
But by the middle of 2017, Kyle Shanahan was like, bump all that. I'm going to go get Jimmy G in a trade. Trade for Jimmy G. Then decides to make Jimmy G the highest paid quarterback at the time. Just 2-3 years later, trade 3 first-round picks to now replace Jimmy G. So many people have asked, is Kyle Shanahan the guru that we think he is?
No.
Now, he says no, I say maybe. The draft is going to dictate it because Kyle Shanahan has been able to evade some of the punishment he probably should have gotten. 3 losing seasons in his first 4 years. But ain't no punishment for that. So now, what is the consequence if Kyle Shanahan messes this up? I think he's going to be gone like his daddy. Mike Shanahan, 2012, trades 3 first-round picks to acquire Robert Griffin. Robert Griffin wins Rookie of the Year, 2012. 2013, they go 3-13. By 2014, Mike Shanahan is gone. Kyle Shanahan has first-hand seen the pressure of trading 3 first-round picks to draft the quarterback that you want, to see it not work out, to be gone shortly thereafter. So if pressure is to some degree tied to consequence, and the consequence is losing your job, of which only 32 exist, then I do think there's even more pressure for that reason.
Man, what'd you do this weekend? Whatever you did, do it again, because you finally come around to where I'm talking about maybe, Guilty or not guilty? Ain't no maybe guilty. It's guilty.
The jury is deliberating.
No, we right here. It is a conviction. Look, I call it like I see it. Look, if I see Kyle Shanahan out, I'm going to say, hey, man, respect for you. But at the same time, there's a difference between being a backup in the league, and we all started off as backups, at least most of us, right? You're so stupid. You're like, started off and finished. Hey.